friends, I'm Jen De La Vega. I am your chef for the Tank Gala this year, and I wanted to show you a few knife skills basics and how to cut all of your vegetables for Tuesday's dinner. Let's start with a scallion. This is one that I've grown in the windowsill, so this is a really fun project if you want to start growing your own scallions. Save this 1.5 inches of the white part, and then you can put it in a jar of water, replace that every 2 days, and it will keep growing scallions, which is very exciting. So I'm going to save that. And you can either be fancy with this by chopping on a diagonal, so we have it straight across, and then angle your knife diagonally, and we make these really pretty diagonal slices. That's one way to cut your scallion. Or you could just slice straight across into little circles. And you'll notice the way I'm holding my knife, I don't put a finger out like this. You get more leverage if you take your pointer finger and your thumb and put it here on the top, scoop back, and then wrap your fingers around. Generally, you should be cutting all of your produce, fruit, and vegetables before you get to any meat, in case you know you're cooking for a vegetarian. Don't want to cross-contaminate the meat stuff on all the vegetable stuff. Okay, so our lemon, you can cut it in half lengthwise, and then put the cut side down, so it's, you know, not rocking back and forth. And then we cut it again in half, so now we have 4 pieces if we repeat with that side. And then you take that quarter and then make another slice to make wedges. Lemon wedge. Another way you could do this, if you want flat round slices, so we have the half here, and then just slice. This is great for cocktails. So 2 different ways you can slice your lemon. Boop, boop, boop. A lot of you are going to get baby bok choy. This is a really big one, but essentially we're just cutting them in half lengthwise. So get it on the cutting board here, and then start at the bottom core. That's going to be the hardest part to cut through. And then if it's still connected at the top, just pull it apart. Easy. The zucchini, the same thing. We're going to cut it in half lengthwise. So I have my fingers away from the blade here, holding it down, and then we just slice. Work slowly if you're uncomfortable with your knife. Half. Great. A lot of you are going to get green beans, but some of you may have gotten a substitution of snow peas. This is what I had in my store. On green beans, you're going to remove the end. You can just snap it off, and then you can either get some help from people and snap them in half or into thirds, easy, or you can get fancy and again slice on the diagonal to get really fun long pieces like that. Oops. Now with garlic, you either might get it peeled or not peeled. We gotta take this husk off. An easy way to remove the paper from the garlic is to put it down on your cutting board and smash it with the side of your knife, and then you can pull it off. To mince a piece of garlic, so we're gonna slice one direction. See, I'm curving my fingers away from the blade, so it's resting, the blade is resting against this like upper knuckle here, so that I push it, you know, as I'm cutting. And I take that and I take the pile, rotate it 90 degrees so we can cut the rest of it. Another way, if you're scared of cutting this way, is to take the point of the knife, put it down on the cutting board, hold it with the other hand, and just move the hand that's holding the knife. So now you can run over everything very quickly. Next we have an onion. There are 2 ways you can cut the onion. It all depends on how you prefer to eat onion. Some people don't like big pieces of onion. Some people like it in half moons. So I'll show you both ways. So you see the root end here? I actually love cutting off the root end so that I can grow it. That's a really fun quarantine project for me. So I'm going to cut the root end off. I take that cut side, put it down so you don't cry. number one, so you don't cry as much. And then I cut it in half, and then immediately put that cut side down on the cutting board, because the more surface area that's exposed, the more you're gonna cry. I cut off the end, and then take off that upper layer, this brown papery layer. And then this is the easy rings, half rings. So just slice slowly, and then from here you can break them apart. See? So keep this end or keep the root end intact. The root end will help keep everything together. And you carefully with your palm, keep your fingers out of there. We're gonna cut 1, 2, 3. We're not cutting all the way. We're only cutting like guidelines. And then down. Oops, see, I'm doing the finger thing. Don't do that. I'm cutting downward. And then from here, since it's all still held together on the end, you just slice as if you were making half moons, and then it should fall into dice. We're doing 3 kinds of cuts. So across, down, and then 90-degree turn from there, down again. And if you see any long pieces like this, you can just cut them individually. You're gonna get a whole head of cabbage. You won't need the whole thing for the recipe, but this is how you core a cabbage. We're gonna cut it in half. Like you see the core there? We're cutting through that, so be careful. So start here. The core should be at the bottom. Get the cabbage in half. You can see the core here. We're gonna cut that out. So you're gonna cut a V shape. There you go. I've cut the core out. And then put the flat side down on the cutting board, and then just slice thinly. If you have a mandolin, that makes things easier. Or if you have a shredding attachment to your food processor, this would go much faster. You're still gonna have to remove the core and quarter the cabbage. Basic vegetable peeler. This is for the carrot ribbons, for the carrot salad. You just hold the carrot on the cutting board, take the peeler, and as if you're peeling the outside, we're gonna keep eating the skin of the carrot because it has lots of nutrients, but you just keep continuing to peel and you're gonna get these carrot ribbons. You'll see that they get thicker and thicker as you go down. Boop. If you don't have a vegetable peeler, a mandolin also works, or you can just cut it as thin as possible. I would just cut it into coins, really thin coins, if you don't have a vegetable peeler. Finally, for those of you that got chorizo, we're cutting fully cooked chorizo. Check your packaging. If you have uncooked chorizo, you have another step that you need to do. You need to bake your chorizo so that it's solid enough for us to slice. But once you have your cooked chorizo, let it cool completely, and then we're gonna cut it into coins. And then they'll be ready for your stir fry. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions before the Tank Gala dinner, please tweet at the Tank NYC with the hashtag Gala Dinner, and I will answer your questions beforehand. So I'll see you on Tuesday, and let's get cooking.